Hi, welcome to Hope and Lie to Suicide. I'm Tammy, I'm your host, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Bobby White Foundation. Um, First, like I always have to do, and it's really important today too, especially, I want to thank John with Area 52 Media Group um, for producing the show and doing everything that he does. And today he's not feeling really good, so send him your prayers, and we're going to power through this show so that he can go get some rest. Also, we want to thank Dylan Gaston with the mortgage firm, our longtime sponsor. She's the best at everything that she does. Anything mortgages, please. I can't say enough about, anything, period, has to do with mortgages. You got to get a hold of her. So, this week has been a crazy week. I think this week of the year is just one of those weeks for me, anyways. But um, I do want to get in our. We had a really great support group last night, our new Poor Richie group. I think we're going to begin to go through the 10 touchstones of suicide grief that we've kind of reviewed before in previous shows. We're going to start doing some of that with the Newport Richie group. Uh, just with the way things happen, it was a good thing. So to remind everybody of our support groups, let's see, September is coming up. So remember, it's the second Wednesday for Spring Hill and the third Thursday for Newport Richie. So Spring Hill will be September 10th, which Kathy will be the main facilitator because I'm going to be getting ready for Art for Hope the next day. And then the Newport Richie group will meet September 18th. And same place, same time. Remember, it's a safe place to come and be with people that are on the same journey as you. We may be at different spots in our journey, but it's a comforting place to know there's other people, like you. It's kind of, these things go through my head quite often. We're a unique community and a community that nobody wants to be a part of, but it is helpful, really, to be around people who are on that same journey. Here comes Millie, maybe. Anyways, so as I was saying, yeah, this is it's a tough week because there's Millie's tail, little booger. We're getting ready for Art for Hope, but it's also, this week is leading up to and actually when this airs, it'll be my birthday, and Bobby's and mine would have been our 33rd wedding anniversary. So every year I think it's gonna be easier, and it's just not. So I've had a lot of ups and downs this week. And that's where, in the past, where we talk about self-care, how self-care is so important. And I'll share with you in a little bit what more of has been going on, what goes on with that. But like I said, we're getting ready for Art for Hope. So there's so much going on. We got volunteer meetings. Man, it's less than 3 weeks away, and which, leading up to it seems like this time just seems to go faster and faster. And I'm missing other events that I'd like to attend because we're preparing for this. And so just remember, it's September 11th at the Hilton Garden Inn at the Suncoast and 54. It's super easy to get to from any of the surrounding counties in Tampa Bay. That's kind of why we located it there. Plus, they were just really super nice, and they're actually we've been with them since that hotel opened, and I kind of forgot about that when we were having a volunteer meeting. The gal who's the bartender there, she is usually the bartender at our event, and she reminded me. She goes, "Yeah, we've been here for 8 years," and I was like, we've all been doing this all together for 8 years. So that's really kind of cool. I have to remember when we have the event to mention that to everybody. But also our sponsors for Art for Hope, which is really super important, so that we can bring all this stuff to you, is of course Area 52 Media Group, Tammy White Galleries. A lot of the art comes from the gallery. We're having a bunch of different types of art too, and I can't really like disclose all of it because some of it is going to be coming in last minute and it's going to be really unique, but I do share some of the art. So, um, other sponsors of ours is Lucas Magazine and Dyer, the Rotary Club of Newport Richey, Precision Survey and Mapping, which they have been with us from the beginning too. They were actually Bobby's employers, so they continue to support us, and of course JR World Travel and Tim Holiday State Farm. We also have, which I didn't get it up in time, is, well, of course, dessert sponsor, can't forget her, Leanne. And she's been with us for a while, and she yes, she is awesome. Oh, this is John in the background. She is really, really good, and she's committed to continue to be the dessert sponsor as long as we continue to do Art for Hope. We also this week picked up a sponsorship from Slice of Life Pizzeria. Paul Atherton is a sponsor, and we have another one coming in, but unfortunately, I don't remember who I gave the paperwork to, but we're gonna have another one coming in, which is really great. But we can always continue to have more sponsors. It just really helps out a lot. Also, we did have the fundraiser last week at Reuters, and it was at Slice of Life Pizzeria, and it was a really great turnout. We had really awesome raffles. Liz, who she works tirelessly promoting the event and kind of keeping things organized. And then Val, um, she's always a great helper. And then there's Mark. He's kind of like does announcing MC stuff and kind of keeps things kind of light and funny. But it was a really good night, and my sister-in-law Mary came, which was a surprise. So that was really, really super good. But so one of the pieces of art that is available, and this is actually one of my favorite pieces of art from the artist Neil Adamson, who he's an artist that I have represented in the gallery for like 25 years. This is Osprey, and this is like one of my favorite pieces of his. And of course, like I said, he was an artist that we were represented for years at the gallery. He passed away about 2 years ago, which was really, really sad. He is an award-winning watercolor artist with the International Watercolor Society, National Watercolor Society. He has art in the U.S. Embassy in South Africa. I can't remember exactly where, but I do have the paperwork, so I know exactly. It's written down exactly where it is, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So anyway, and this piece is actually hanging in the hotel right now. So if you're interested in the piece ahead of time, all you have to do is get a hold of me at the foundation, and we can arrange it. We did recently send a piece up north somewhere. I think it went to Ohio. It was one of our other artists' work. So that money was donated to the foundation. So it's fun. That's the fun part of my job is dealing with the art and the people and stuff. But yeah, so it's been like super busy getting ready for Art for Hope, getting ready also, and I didn't think we would need to do this as soon as we are, but when we announced that we were, doing the walk in November, we've had such a tremendous response, so getting ready for Art for Hope, and then am getting ready to do the, pre-registration, for the walk in November. So and I probably shouldn't have done this, but I did it, and I did it to myself. So pre-registration for the walk would be, like, when this airs, like today, August 23rd, which, like I said, is my birthday and our anniversary, and I guess that's why I just I was gonna wait until, Art for Hope to have all that, but we've been getting just too many people just asking and wanting they already wanna start getting prepared, and so then I thought, "Well, we'll do it September 1st because 'cause that'll be the first, uh, the month of, National Suicide Prevention, month," and then, people are still asking me, so I'm like, "Okay, let's do it the 23rd, our anniversary," um, so when I do some of this, and it's not always that way, but just happened to be for this. I wanted it to be of some significance. And so, anyways, so just if there's any glitches in the pre registration, please be patient with us because I'm really new at all this stuff. I've been doing all week getting the forms ready and working on getting them integrated into the website. I've learned a lot of stuff that I've never known before on, what platform are we working on? Jotform. Some of the stuff is really cool that I've been able to do. So, and ironically, that's kind of played into my mental wellness because there were times, especially, I don't know why. I mean, it was at the beginning of the week, and then there's been times in between, but I've just been so busy that I just wasn't feeling good. And when I don't, what happens with me is I get this really super, super, super heaviness, right? I mean, physically, I feel it in my chest. Um, and I just don't feel like doing anything. I've got the foundation to do. I got the walk to get ready for. And I'm not doing all this by myself, believe you me, because there's no way. I have so much. I'm so grateful that I have so much support and, people on my side and willing to help. Um, but you just get that way, and sometimes you just don't know I don't know what triggered it. Um, I'm trying to think. Monday, I don't even remember. Tuesday, well, I kind of remember. So we put out on social media the new flyer for the walk, and um, then I was at a luncheon Tuesday, and I get a call from the city, and now all of a sudden, unsaid other organization called to inquire about doing their walk. Um, Fortunately, the city in which is I get they're really behind us, and so they told them no. We already have a walk permitted, and we're not going to do two walks for the same cause. Um, we moved forward, and it was just that was like a really surreal kind of feeling. But I'm just so grateful that the city was just like, no, Tammy, you got this, and I just it's amazing. So yeah, so doing that, and then I always, but I still, in the back of my mind, I don't know, and in my heart, just things were. It's just been I my emotional being has just been, I don't know, maybe a lot of highs and lows, and some of it is every day quicker. It's just been really kind of weird, and I probably think that it's because there's so much going on, but I can't tell you what just happened. But anyways, um, but it's so and two, I was actually we were supposed to tape our show on Wednesday, and I was like, I need a haircut. And I always do this every year. So couldn't get a hold of my niece, and I have a friend, a gal, and I've known her for quite a while, and she's closer, and so I called her and said, can I get my hair cut? And the only time that she had open was when I taped my show. And this is where I have the most wonderful producer. I just texted him and I'm like, and I didn't tell him why. I just said, hey, can we move the time? And of course he said yes. So I went and I got my hair cut. Of course, it probably can't tell, but to me it's a lot lighter. And that makes me feel better. And this person who cut my hair, she actually was one of the gals that stood next to me, basically holding my hand the first time I spoke publicly about Bobby's death. And she too had a loss to suicide. She lost her mother when she was a teenager. And she up until then, I didn't know that. And that day she shared that with me, but she stood next to me supporting me when I was sharing my story with other people in a room. And it's just that kind of support. And so I was really glad when she got to cut my hair. And then and John ended up getting sick. So, and he's plowing through today, and I'm just so happy that he is, but I know he doesn't feel good. But so then today, and this is what I always do. Of course, we had our support group, and my co-facilitator Teresa, who we've been friends with about 8 or 9 years. She actually was the chair the last couple of years for the walk, and I was the MC. And her and her husband are moving to Colorado, so she was my co-facilitator for our Newport Richey group, and they're moving away. So, but both her and Steve came last night, so we got to say our goodbyes. But they're moving to Colorado Springs, and hopefully I'll get to see them in October when I go to Fort Collins to the Center. Gosh, I always forget this. The Center for Loss and Life Transitions with Dr. Wolfelt. I'm going through the grief training, the suicide grief training. So Steve said we're only a couple hours, there'll only be a couple hours away. So hopefully we'll get to see each other when I go out there in Colorado. So what I started doing when we started these support groups, and I did it for a while a few years ago, and then I quit. But I felt like doing these support groups, I really needed to do something to make sure that I took care of myself, took care of my mental health, which is fragile at times, which I don't let a lot of people know. But to be honest, it is true. So I started getting a massage and CRT, which is a cranial release treatment. And I've been going to the same gal for several years. She actually, when I broke my wrist, did red light therapy on me so that to help my wrist heal quicker. But so that's what I did today, and got the massage and CRT treatment, and really the CRT cranial release treatment. And there's very few. She's one of two in our county that does it. She's the only one in our immediate area who does the CRT treatment, and she has to have somebody else do it for her, the other person. And but really, it's almost like being on a natural high and not being, whacked out. But it just makes you feel so good. I remember the first time I had it done, and I'm driving back home, and honestly, I felt like my head was like way up here. And plus, I have this thing, and it's been this way since I was in high school, that after a period of time, short period of time sometimes, my one leg ends up being shorter than the other. And I found that out through a chiropractor. And it just still happens. I don't know why. But when she does the CRT treatment, because she can, and I can tell when she pushes on my knees, I can even just tell that my legs are like kind of crooked. And when she does the CRT treatment, it puts me back in alignment. So my legs are like the same length again. And it just makes you feel so much better. So that is so hopefully, I mean, this should last all day into tomorrow. And that's when I feel pretty good. So like I said, it's, you get the highs and the lows, and you don't know when they're going to happen. You really don't. I'm just trying to focus on the happier side of it. It's still just as hard for me, I think, um, as it was, 8 years ago. But I think the stuff that I'm doing, I know helps me, but then a lot of times it's a lot to handle, because really, it's 24/7. But like one of the people at our support group last night said, it's nice to be around people, and this is why we wanted the support group for suicide specific. She said it's just nice to be around people who understand, who are going through the same thing, who knows what you're feeling, who knows those weird thoughts, and we can support each other. And that's what it's all about, is helping each other and support each other. And it was nice to hear that. They were so grateful that they found the support group, and they were actually at the walks the last couple of years. And they were just elated that we're continuing the walks, and I think that they're going to become volunteers. If not, for sure they'll be participating. So it's just kind of sometimes those little tiny validations that make it all worthwhile. Because sometimes, and I know that most of it's in my head, sometimes I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. My neighbor kind of brings me back to reality every once in a while. And she's taking me out to lunch tomorrow. Her and our other friend were going to actually my favorite restaurant. It was Bobby's and my favorite restaurant, which I would go to anyways. It's the only one that I can go and not have a meltdown. In on the golf, and our great niece is hostessing there now, so I'm hoping she'll be there tomorrow. I guess I should probably text her and see, but I figured I'd make it a surprise. And usually what I do, because I usually go there like 3 times a year, is I go on my birthday, which is our anniversary. I'll go on his birthday, and I'll go on the day that he died. And when I go by myself, I always get him his own Budweiser. And the girls who wait on me there, one girl I've known for years, and she knows, and she gets it. And I don't know if we'll do that tomorrow. I'll have to see. Let's see if Kathy will say yeah, because Kathy gets mad at him every once in a while too. So, but it should be a good day. And then I got a fundraiser benefit for a friend that I got to go to in the afternoon. and come back home and maybe watch a NASCAR race. But we'll see. Yeah, it'll be a day that I'm going to be keeping busy, but it's still like, it's that day. Um, don't get married on your birthday. In the beginning, it's really nice, and I think the guys think that they'll stay out of trouble that way, but um, it's not so nice anymore. But I do have the good memories. So we had a beautiful wedding here in our backyard. Um, Something I'll never forget. Um, but and that's what I try and think about and remember. And actually today, I put this is a necklace that he wore all the time, and I put his wedding ring on there, and then about 5 years after he died, so about 4 years ago, I put mine on there with it, and so I can wear it a couple times a year. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But anyways, so okay, we got through it. Reminder, Art for Hope, September 11th, the walk everybody is so excited about. But I want to leave you with this. I thought this quote was really pretty good, and I've really felt this quote this week, and sometimes even more often than that. Be a weed. A weed is a plant that has mastered every survival skill except for learning how to grow in rows. And I think there's a couple of us here right now. I won't say who the other one is. It is probably just as much as a weed as I am. So, yeah, it's gonna be crazy the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we're gonna be getting more information. Don't forget, please, if you go on the website and we're having some glitches with the registration. I'm getting the volunteer one up there too, and just be patient with us, and I'll try and put it on there. Please, it's coming. So remember, please put these numbers in your phone. Have this available. Easiest thing, memorize 988. And 988 Day is coming up too in September. So it's really simple. And it's not just for suicide prevention. Anybody that's having mental health issues, these are lifelines. Just keep them in your phone. You may never know. You may just be that one person to give that person hope. And it is so important because please remember there is always hope. Thank you.